Download this code from codegive.com, link in the description below. Spring Boot Error Exception Handling, Session 3 by Mr. Raghu. In this session, we will explore error and exception handling in a Spring Boot application. Proper error handling is crucial for creating robust applications, as it allows developers to manage unexpected situations gracefully and provides a better user experience. Key concepts: 1. Exception handling, mechanism to handle runtime errors in a controlled way. 2. Controller advice, a specialization of the component annotation that allows you to handle exceptions globally across all controllers. 3. Response entity, a helpful class that represents an HTTP response, including status codes and response body. 4. Custom exception, user-defined exception classes that can provide specific error messages. Step-by-step tutorial. Step 1. Create a Spring Boot application. You can create a new Spring Boot application using Spring Initialize https://start.spring.io, with the following dependencies. Spring Web. Spring Boot Dev Tools, optional for development. Step 2. Define a custom exception. Create a custom exception class that extends runtime exception. Step 3. Create a controller. Next, we will create a simple REST controller that might throw our custom exception. Step 4. Create a global exception handler. Use @controller advice to create a global exception handler that will catch exceptions thrown by the controllers and return appropriate responses. Step 5. Testing the application. Run your Spring Boot application and test the endpoint using a tool like Postman or curl. Accessing /users/1 will return. Accessing /users/2 will return. Summary. In this session, we learned how to handle exceptions in a Spring Boot application. We created a custom exception, built a REST controller that can throw that exception, and implemented a global exception handler using @controller advice. This approach provides a centralized way to handle exceptions and return meaningful error messages to clients. Further reading. Spring Boot official documentation, https://docs.spring.io/spring-boot/docs/current/reference/html single. Exception handling in Spring MVC, https://docs.spring.io/spring-framework/docs/current/reference/html/web.html MVC-exception handling. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or need further clarification on any topics.